dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket, with all the good takes you need. Here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome in to Raff's Good Take on Sports, a shortened version, but I'm sure you guys understand because or if you were listening, we're going through Husker Hoops, and I will encourage you guys, if you guys still want to talk about it, text in 402-464-5685. Chris Raff, although he lives in Alabama and he's a big Crimson Tide fan, he still loves his Huskers as well. So you can call in. I'll take phone calls as well. Lines are nuts when I'm back here by myself. So when I have a million lights flashing, it's tough to get everything all in control, so we're not just airing knuckleheads out there. But if you guys want to call in now, I'll be more than happy to let you on air. Chris Raff, how's it going?
It's going. I was screaming. I was yelling. Oh man, that was a lot of emotion there in those final minutes. Actually, the entire second half. I mean, comes out, go down 22. Fred's only got one timeout left. Do you call the timeout and try to stop the run? Do you let them play through? Nebraska hangs in there, starts coming back. Oh man, that was intense. That was the game of games. I'll tell you that. The ending, like I said, it was anticlimactic, but I mean, just yeah. That was a lot to take in. It was like the tale of four different ball games. It felt like first half, Nebraska. It was weird. The first half watching, it felt like I was watching Nebraska. Purdue was like being, what Nebraska's success is scrapping for the loose balls, coming out, hitting some 3-pointers, getting that early lead. I think Nebraska was just shell-shocked. I think maybe, coming out, playing at home, usually, they have that early momentum, making some shots. Next thing you know, they're down 15 and you're just like, what is going on right now? So it was an interesting game. That's for sure.
Yeah. I just, one of the most emotional games I've watched, and, doing this job for a while now, it's been easier and easier for me to just try to take my emotions out of it. Always there, just maybe not as strong as when I was only watching it as a fan. But this game, what a gut wrench it was, back and forth. You're looking up, it's 1-14 while we're doing Takedown Tuesdays with a couple of former Husker wrestlers. And before you know it, we get to Jalen Reyes' show. It's like, boy, 22-point deficit now. And then in the middle of Jalen Reyes' show, serving volley, I look up and Nebraska's mounting a comeback. And before you know it, we're in overtime. But then you go look at the stats, and the stats say Nebraska really had no business being there. But then you get Purdue stats. You're like, well, Purdue just also was kind of losing the game. At the end there, it felt like Nebraska really wanted to win, and Purdue just kind of fell apart. And then you get into overtime, and it feels like Nebraska's in control. But then there's the slip on the court. Jamarcus Lawrence goes down. Again, one of the craziest finishes you could probably have in a game. But then you go look across the pond, well, not across the pond, across more dirt, and you see Illinois took an upset versus Wisconsin today. So you don't want to hit the panic, because to Austin's point, if anyone before the season would have started like, hey, by the time we get to February 10th, Nebraska's going to have 3 losses, and they're only going to be versus quad 1 opponents, all within the top 15. I think everyone would have been like, oh, geez, okay, we must be really good. We'll all take that. But because we've went on that magical run of almost not losing a game within an entire year, I think we got to like 335 days before we lost a game again. I think we just kind of start telling ourselves we'll never lose, or, these games we're just, maybe we'll cough one up to Michigan or Illinois, but I think a lot of people are kind of locking in this Purdue game as we'll take care of this. I still think we should have, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's college basketball. That's the beauty of it. And tonight was one of the purest examples of it. Good luck trying to project it when you get into some of these top 15 matchups, because that was a thriller back and forth. And some of it was, bad offense. And the other part of it, though, was just really good defense. I mean, that's the one thing I thought both teams did well, and what kind of led to some of the first half woes for Nebraska, and then a lot of the second half woes for Purdue was the defense has stepped up. I mean, in a big way. It was Nebraska in the second half, and it was Purdue in the first half. And of course, shout out for Purdue for just completely trusting on that 3-point line, when I think if they would have went inside more, they probably could have coasted to a victory.
Yeah. And the thing too is, like, yes, there was a lot of bad for the game tonight, and it will be talked about. Free throws, that was a little bit of an issue. Early, first half, the rebounding, there's issues there. But one of the attributes that needs to really be talked about, though, is Nebraska has that ability to scrap and to play themselves back into a game. I mean, this wasn't just a whole hum Purdue team. I mean, the point guard, Braden Smith, I mean, he's a baller. He can play. I mean, they've got players, that they can play the game, and that Nebraska was able to scrap and to make the comeback that they did. I mean, that says a lot about the team. It's not an attribute that you want to live on. You don't want to be in that position all the time, but knowing that you have that and knowing that you're never out of a game, yes, it's a loss, and there's going to be a lot of teaching points for Coach Hoiberg. No doubt about that. And I don't think anybody is denying that, but when they show me that they have that, they didn't tuck their tails in and go home. I mean, they could have, like the Illinois game, I felt like they just didn't have like that burst, or that you don't want to say enthusiasm, but just didn't have that normal, typical, Nebraska at home, attitude. And the way they kept it together tonight, they could have reverted back to that and said, like, okay, well, it's Purdue. They're going to win by 15. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. But the way they kept on fighting and scratching and clawing and people stepping up, I mean, it was impressive in that sense. I mean, there's definitely work to be done, but man, it feels good to know that, that team never gives up. And I think that's Nebraska, what Nebraska fans want in a basketball team. I think you saw that, they should have played better in the first half. Yes, I know that. And they should have rebounded. Yes, I know that, but they never quit. And that's a huge positive.
Yeah. I mean, on the bright side, it's Nebraska still holds that respect. That's a tough loss right there, but because you guys didn't just tuck your tail and you went out there and fought, like, people are still looking at Nebraska on the schedule like, even if we get up by a lot, we know this team's not going to give it to us. It's going to be a team that's going to be, to your point, scratching, clawing, tooth and nail. They are not going to let go, even when they're down by 22 points. And that was kind of the story of today. And again, I think Purdue's offense in the second half was interesting, how they weren't going inside, but at the same time, that's a lot of Nebraska taking away those passing lanes, making the 3-point shot the only best shot available, because it's been the Nebraska defense all year. Deny everything inside, will live and die by the 3. And it worked in the second half. And in that first half, for whatever reason, they just weren't as disciplined, really protecting around that paint. And to your point, guys like Braden Smith, Hoyer, they really open it up by hitting some tough shots. And then, of course, the rebounds. The rebounds is the one thing I think we can all circle that has to be fixed. If it's not fixed, I still think we're a pretty good favorite to win the first tournament game, although I'll knock on wood right now so I don't jinx it. But if you want to be serious, if you want to be that, not just a top 10 team, but a top 10 team that people are talking about, like maybe a Final Four team, you're going to see that athleticism and that size and that activity most like when you get to the Final Four. I mean, those teams are going to have really good athletes. or incredible shooting, kind of like what Nebraska does, and good defense. But most of the time, it seems they've got a lot of size in there. So that's the one area that I think Nebraska's going to just continue to have to work through and try to figure out what that looks like when defensively. I think they can figure out ways to keep in that and stymieing the points there. But then you got to get the rebound after. Otherwise, the second chance point three almost hurts even more. Unknown texter 8985 chimes in. I asked Austin this, has his perspective of Husker hoops changed at all at the end of that game? And he said no. Unknown texter chimes in as well. He says, we proved that we were never out of any game. If we look like a YMCA team for 3/4 of against the top-notch team. And again, his thoughts of the team haven't changed. Raff, I'll ask you that same question. Like, has anything changed when you're looking at this Nebraska basketball team before tip-off and after tip-off?
No, still have the same. Nebraska's still dangerous. Nebraska, they're going to be in every game they play in. I don't see them being blown out. I think they have a chance to win every game they play. I think that's all that we can ask for. One of the things that really hasn't been discussed much either is Price Sanford. I don't know what's going on, with him. Is he plays good halves. Like, I want him to patch together a full 2-half game. Like, he was pretty non-existent there in the first half, and then he shows up in the second half. It kind of was reversed the prior two games where he was on fire in the first half and then really didn't do much in the second half. So I don't know if it's just, adjusting to the cover, the defensive coverage that they're applying to him to not let him, get off those 3-point shots or what's going on there. But it's like, I was like, come on, Price, we need to hear, that first half, so I don't know. Got to find a way to get, the full entire 40 minutes, I guess, or not to just, disappear. It just feels like, that first half, he just wasn't there. The shots weren't dropping for him. I don't even know he even took a ton of 3-point shots there in the first half, maybe 3, or.
Yeah, he wasn't, taking a ton of shots. And to your point, I think it's a little bit of everything, right? Defensives have certainly acknowledged Sanford, and they chase him around like hell. And usually in the second half, it starts opening up because that's tiring to do. I mean, I'm not calling him Steph Curry, but that was always the thing in the NBA with Steph Curry. It's like, you can chase him around for the first quarter. Are you still up to it for the second quarter? Are you still up to it for the third quarter? All right, it's the fourth quarter. You better still have the legs because now he's really coming for you. And I think that's where his game starts to open up because it's just demanding, chasing a guy around like that over the entire course of a game. But to your point, I still think you can find ways to abuse that. One of the best things Casey Tamanaga always did was when people were chasing him around, I'll go back door, or I'll take the ball and you think I'm rolling off the screen for a 3. I'll just keep my dribble and keep going because you guys are already predicting my movement. I know just if I keep going down the lane, you guys aren't anticipating that part. And Casey Tamanaga did that so well. So for Price Sanford, although you're the focus uniquely, sometimes you can still abuse that when they're going to oversell on that 3-point line. So that's the part of his game where, don't get me wrong, he's a phenomenal player. I'm not trying to criticize his game at all. But if you want to see that super version of Sanford, I think that's where that part comes from, is he's got the attention of the defense. Now can you be 2 steps ahead of the defense and really have them bent out of sorts where you're kind of predicting, like, he's got it on tape. He's that 3-point shooter that you don't want to get hot. Can you abuse that somehow? And again, like, it doesn't make him a bad player because he's not doing that. Of course not. But if he wants to become like that elite player that almost goes on those runs and he can play an entire game where teams are just at a loss defending him, I think that's where that part comes from.
I got a question too for you, Harrison, and the listeners. It kind of popped in my head tonight at the end of the game there. So, you had Jamarcus Lawrence. They were trying to use his speed tonight to get him to the hoop, to get the final shot up. But this is a question not outside of that. A final shot. If Nebraska needs a final shot, who is your final shot guy? Is it Price? Is it Jamarcus? Is it Rink? Who would be the guy that you'd go to if you needed one final shot?
I'll think about that one because we got through at the break. I'll answer that next. Who would I want to take the final shot for Nebraska? And of course, we'll get to Raff's good take. And also, we got Terrell Farley in here. He's got a good take for you as well. We will read all that on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Raff's good take on sports.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Just got new tires put on my car today.
You did? I didn't see you leave the office.
I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get 1 half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We still got Chris Raff on a shortened version of Raff's Good Take on Sports. Raff, you asked me the question, who would I want to take the final shot in a game if it was down to the stretch? If I don't know what the box score looks like, give me the fastest trigger in the West. Give me Bryce Sanford.
All right. I like that.
How about yourself?
You know, I think I'm going Jamarcus Lawrence.
If I'm in a situation like that where I got to get the ball up the court, yeah, because he's got the best ball handling, and in a night like tonight, he was shooting the ball really well. But for me, it's, I'm thinking half court, like quick inbound. But in a full court, yeah, I'm with you. Jamarcus Lawrence every time because he's going to have the handles.
I'm going even out of bounds. If you're underneath the hoop, I'm going out of bounds. If you need like a 17 to a 21-foot jumper or something like that, I think I'm still going J-Mo.
I got no problems with that. Jamarcus Lawrence has been a quiet spark plug.
Yeah.
He doesn't get talked about all the time, but Jamarcus Lawrence, I don't know how many we still win a lot of games. Don't get me wrong. This team is very good. I'm not going to belittle how good they've been.
Yeah.
But Jamarcus Lawrence has been a big part of that. He has a lot of moments. And even though he's really tampering down his shooting as a result of this entire team, it's just kind of, he might have a game where he scores 27 and he's kind of the focal point, or other games, he'll kind of be that guy in the background who will make some big time shots, but not necessarily demand a ton. Jamarcus Lawrence is phenomenal. I don't, like I said, I don't think if we don't have him, we're losing left and right, but he's certainly added a lot of wins to this team.
Definitely.
Also
too, do they still call 3 seconds? Is that a real call anymore? Or did they get rid of that in college basketball?
Welcome to the big. We like to forget that rule. I know exactly what you're talking about on that play. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. And I'm not exaggerating. I saw the videos as well. I mean, it's right in the middle of the lane, and it's not like he's just sitting on the edge. I mean, he's in the middle, actively posting up, just taking space in the lane, right in front of the official. They never call that. And that one drives me nuts because they made that rule for a reason. And on top of that, when you're an undersized team, and they're going to act like that rule doesn't exist, or they're just not paying attention to it, it's devastating. There's not a lot you can do if you're an undersized big, and the big in there can just keep posting you up and holding you there for 9-10 seconds. I mean, it's going to be tough to play defense if they're allowing that to happen. So it feels like in the Big Ten, unfortunately, no. Like I rarely ever see that. And it's not just Nebraska. That happens all the time. It's kind of absurd how much that one gets missed. And I can understand it if it's like, well, there was like 5, 6. It was pretty close. That was a slow count. We almost got to 10. And we only didn't get to 10 because he got the ball and shot.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if, the clock was still going, didn't have the ball, he probably would have sat in there for another 5 seconds. I mean, it was not great. I don't want to be too negative. We'll get to this text and then we'll get to your good take. 1984 chimes in. He says, not talking to us, talking to the negatives out there. He says, we all need to relax. If you told me we are 24 games into the season, we are 21-3, and our losses are Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, every one of us would have said, hell yeah, I'll take it in a heartbeat. In Horbeek we trust. Go Big Red. Let's blanking go. Let's blanking go. Shout out Tuller off the text line.
What did T. Farley have to say?
Well, he says the good take of the day is Raff's good take of the day is the Call of Duty King, Terrell Farley.
Oh, Terrell. I miss that guy.
I always say it. One of the funniest guys at the ticket. I hope he's still not listening, but he is. I don't know if it's always intentional, unintentional, but I think it's just his diction. Like the way he speaks, it just cracks me up. He's got jokes. I'll give him that much. Raff, what is your good take?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's good take. It's going out to the Nebraska basketball fans. He had a 6 o'clock tip off tonight. That building was electric. Nebraska, the first half gave, all the reasons, that like Bill Raftery was in the house tonight, and he was surprised at the way Nebraska fans came back into the game. Like they had lost a little bit of juice and the way they responded back. So Nebraska basketball fans, huge job tonight. Kent Pavelka, Jeff Smith. I was watching on television and listening to the call. I mean, just the enthusiasm, just everything that Nebraska basketball fans. And it's a magic carpet ride, like the previous texter said. If you tell us we're 21-3 right now, there's not a person in the state that would not have taken where we're at. So, Nebraska basketball fans, you guys are Raff's Good Take.
You know what? Let's get one more in here because we got a Purdue fan in here. And I got no disdain against Purdue. So we got Kyle Thomas. He says, Purdue fan here. Keep your heads up. You would have won if not that 14-1 start. Look at Illinois. They lost. This was a hard part of the schedule. And I know it's three-fourths, but it's part of the Big Ten. Yeah, absolutely right. Like, this was a game where I'm sure Purdue looks at this game thinking, man, we really should have closed out Nebraska. And then Nebraska is sitting here thinking, man, we had opportunities as well. I mean, both teams had multiple opportunities. It looked like a top 15 matchup. So
the thing too is Purdue's good. I mean, that's the thing. It's like if they ended up with the number 1 seed, I would not be surprised one bit, just because they are that good of a team. If they're the one, if they end up winning the Big Ten, that does not surprise me one bit, because they're a good team. But like you said there, if it's not 14-1, maybe Nebraska wins that game. So Nebraska's a good team too. I mean, I'm looking forward to that Big Ten tournament. I mean, that final 2-3 days of the Big Ten tournament, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that might even be an understatement. The Big Ten tournament this year, I think it's going to be electric. A rematch versus Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, or if we got to see Tom Izzo, Michigan State again, or Wisconsin. I mean, to the point, Wisconsin pulled off another upset. Wisconsin Badgers are playing really good basketball right now. The important thing is Nebraska lost, but it isn't March yet. So we live on to play some more basketball games. That is Chris Raff. Appreciate him as always. Appreciate all the ticket listeners. Keep joining in. We got a couple more hours right here. 93.7 The Ticket. Don't go anywhere.